Okay, good morning, class. This is going to be the start of several little mini lessons I'm going to be providing to you about different topics in Excel, and I hope you find them useful. This morning we're going to talk about something called relative versus absolute references, or relative versus absolute addressing in Excel. It's important that you understand the difference to be successful in Excel. Now, what you need to know is that Excel always defaults to relative addressing. In order to use absolute addressing, you have to tell it to do so. Otherwise, it will always use relative addressing. And let me try and show you an example here of what we're talking about. So if you look over here, we have two columns of numbers, group 1 and group 2. And right here in column G, we are going to write a formula that will multiply the number in column E by the number in column F and put the result in column G. So knowing that we have to start a formula with an equal sign, that's what we'll do. I'll put an equal here, and then we're going to click on this cell here to bring the E6 into the formula. And then we're going to type a multiplication sign, which is a shift on the 8 key, pressing shift and 8, or you can find it on the numeric keypad also in the upper right corner. Okay, equal E6, and then we have the multiplication sign, and then we're going to click here in this cell, equal E6 times F6, and if we press the enter key, there's our answer. 3 times 4 obviously equals 12. Now, if you look up here in the formula bar, you can see it says equal E6 times F6. Now, if we use the autofill handle, which is what we should be doing to streamline and work efficiently in Excel, let's see what happens. Remember, to invoke the autofill handle, you have to move the cursor over the little green rectangle, a green square in the lower corner, like this, then click down and drag it down as far as you need to go. Okay, now, so look at our first formula, equals E6 times F6. When we drag it down to the next row, look how it adjusted these references. We came down one row over here, so it comes down one row over here to look at the numbers, not in row 6 for here, but in row 7. And the formula reflects that, equal E7 times F7. If you click in over here, it's multiplying E8 times F8. If you click here, E9 times F9, these two numbers here. If you click here, it's dealing with row 10, the numbers in row 10. And if you click here, you can see it's dealing with the numbers in row 11. So that is what relative referencing is all about. You move down one row here relative to where you started for this calculation, and you must move down one row here to find the numbers to be multiplied by. So that is a classic example of relative addressing in Excel. Now I'm going to switch over to a different sheet here, and I'm going to show you an example where we would want to use absolute referencing. So we have these 5 numbers here. Over here in column F, let's create a formula that will take this number right here in E6 and multiply by this number right up here. Okay, so formula starts with an equal sign. Then we're going to click right here, and then we're going to type in our multiplication sign, and we're going to type in click, and that cell right there, I'm going to press the enter key. So 62.5 by 3.5 gives you 218.75. You pretty much know that's right, because 60 times 3 would be 180, and we're looking at a bigger number here on both of these, so 218.75. That looks pretty good. Now let's try the autofill handle. Let's see if we can make this work for the rest of the rows. Well, look what happened. Look in this row here. Look at the formula. Well, look at the first the formula up here, E6 times I1. Okay, now we come down here, and it looks at E7, which is this number right here, but because we dropped down one row over here, when it looks to multiply by 3.5, it drops down one row here to I2. You look at the formula. Equal E7 times I2. This one here equals E8 times I3, which is right here. These cells are empty. That's why we're getting zeros for these four answers here. You look at the last one here, E10, which is this, times I5, which would be right here. These are all empty, and that's why we're getting zeros. So let's do this again, and this time we'll use absolute addressing. So we'll start off with our equal sign. We're going to click here to get the first number that we're going to multiply by. Now, the way you designate absolute referencing is you put a dollar sign before the row and the column. So when we tell Excel to multiply by this cell right here, we have to put a dollar sign before the I for the column and a dollar sign before the 1 for the row. Now the easy way to do that is to use the F4 key. So let's put our multiplication sign in there. And now when we click over here in this cell, you press the F4 key one time and you see it puts a dollar sign before the column and the row. $I, $1. When you press the F4 key, it cycles through 4 different options. The next time it just locks in the row with a dollar sign. The next time it locks in the column. The next time it locks in both. And then it goes back to no dollar signs at all. No dollar sign in front of the row and column, dollar sign in front of the row only, dollar sign in front of the column only, and then no dollar sign either. There's 4 different options. The only one you're really concerned with is the first time you press it, which gives you this here. Now let's press the enter key, and look, we get the same answer that we did here, which is the right answer. Now when we use the autofill handle and we drag down, because we locked in this value right here with a dollar sign in front of the row and the column, if you click here, you'll see it's taking E7 times $I, $1, which is this value up here. And it locks it in for each of these calculations here. So each of these is multiplying the number over here by this number here. Because we put the dollar signs in when we built the formula for the row and the column here, it does not drop down to the next row each time. So this is an example of absolute referencing, and the way you create an absolute reference is to put a dollar sign before the row and the column. When you're building your formula, you click on the value first, like we did the 3.5, and then we press the F4 key one time to insert the dollar sign in front of the row and the column. And remember, F4 goes through a toggle of 4 different combinations between dollar signs in front of the row and the column, in front of the row only, the column only, and then none at all. Okay, so that is how you do absolute addressing. And I hope you understand. If you have any questions, please reach out to me, and I'll be back with another video a little bit later today. Thank you.